we start cleaning it out, and he's like, what is that? And I was like, well, buddy, I think that's your bone. And he was like, oh, okay. And so we wrapped it up and sent him to the hospital, and sure enough, it was his bone poking out of his finger.
Rodeo time.
Welcome to the Luke Branquinho Show. As you can tell, my voice is getting gone. We've been doing a lot of shows out here in Vegas, had a lot of great guests, but these two up on the stage with me now really have a special place in my heart for a lot of reasons. One, the guy I rodeoed with the last year I got to rodeo, Justin Shaffer, got to his first national finals this year, and his beautiful wife, Cade. You guys, thank you for joining us. And obviously, you know why you have a special place in my heart, because we're both in Hico now. We moved a couple years ago, and you guys moved right before us. And like I said, last year I rodeoed, got to spend it on the road with you. And I don't know if I could have picked, this is going to hurt a lot of people's feelings, a better traveling partner than you and Jacob and Tucker.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was special for us. Tally and I at the time had actually said we were probably going to rodeo just me and him, no drama. And then 5-time world champion calls you don't say no. So, yeah. And then that journey turned into more than what I thought it would. I mean, you moved to Hico. I think I can speak for everybody. We turned into family from there.
Absolutely. And obviously, Cade, you, with Lindsay going there, not having, anybody that she knew, friends or anything, and then you guys hit it off, which I knew you would, and the boys and the girls, getting to become friends. And, I mean, I like you said, it's family. It's brothers and sisters.
Sure.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like when we moved to Hico, we moved away from family, and I was really worried I wouldn't have that security of like friends and family. And truly, like, Hico has become home for us, and a big part of that is you guys being there and just the familiarity of rodeo. And obviously, like, Lindsay's an Instagram sensation, and so I fangirled for like the first year. And now I feel really just blessed that y'all are in our lives, and that, like you said, the kids can hang together. They can dominate in all sports. The Hamilton County area, but whatever.
but really, it's fun to be able to say, hey, Cade, not fun. Excuse me, there goes the voice. Not fun, but it's nice to be able to say, hey, Cade, I'm running late. Can you pick the kids up? Or vice versa. You guys are gone rodeo and you whatever. And to be able to have that comfort and that security, knowing they're going to people we trust. Yeah. And that's just one little aspect of it. The other, when we first moved in there, didn't have an arena, and we still barely got that up. But Cade wanted to start steer wrestling. We were able to just come over to your guys' place and get after it.
Yeah, and how cool has that been to see? I'm just young enough, not too young, but I'm just young enough. I haven't seen too many kids grow in their steer wrestling like he was. When you guys showed up, I've gotten to see that whole process, and that's been awesome.
Well, and I'm going to say that a little bit of that come from me, but majority of it came from you, because you were there when we were practicing. I would try to tell him something, and he's like, you're dumb?
You don't know anything about steer wrestling. What are you talking
exactly. about? But you could tell him almost the same exact things, like, yes, sir, and then goes and does it. And, that means obviously the world to Lindsay and I, that he has somebody like you and Cade to be able to listen to and trust.
And doctor his finger in my kitchen.
Oh, yeah. That was, 2 years ago when he popped? So he popped, it was the middle finger.
Yeah, it was his middle finger. And he comes down to the house, and he's like, Miss Cade, I need a Band-Aid. And I was in the kitchen cooking dinner, and I look at his hand, and I'm like, okay, let's stick it under the faucet. And I get hydrogen peroxide, and we start cleaning it out. And he's like, what is that? And I was like, well, buddy, I think that's your bone. And he was like, oh, okay. And so we wrapped it up and sent him to the hospital. And sure enough, it was his bone poking out of his finger. Yeah,
I've never seen a finger dislocate from behind the nail. Just that little tip. Anyway, it was... Cade didn't like needles. Let's just put it that way, until they gave him a little numbing medicine, and then he was fine. But let's shift gears now. Cade bulldogging with you and made it to the junior NFR, and obviously a proud dad moment to see that. But the other cool thing is you made it to your first national finals, and I know with family, everybody out here, nobody could be more prouder than the people that helped you get there.
Yeah, this I've said it more than once this time, but the support system I've had has always been there. And I think we've had that discussion going down the road. It's never been my support system or my bulldogging. Even my horsepower, it's as good or greater. I mean, I got one of the, in my opinion, I'm a little biased to him, but I got one of the best horses going right now. But I've always had good horsepower, good enough to be here. My support system is amazing. I couldn't say enough about it, everybody that's behind me.
Well, and Katie, we've had this discussion before. Well, they're out on the road. Like, what is he doing? What does he need to do? And really, it comes down to dumbing it down. I mean, to me, you're probably the smartest bulldogger out there and can get by any type of steer. But sometimes putting that much thought into it hinders you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that's what this year was. The thought for me this year was to be okay with every run and be excited about the next one, not breaking the last one down. Because that was my biggest flaw, was thinking too much through it and making my same run. And this year I was trying to make my same run every time.
Well, and you again, Bulldog, good enough. You should have been here 10 years ago. I can remember the first year you came out was that, what did we say, 2014? 2013 when I seen him. You were with Hunter?
Yeah.
I mean, that alone just shows how tough you are. But you should have been here, in my opinion, since then. And I think when the ERA happened, and I even made that statement when we had that jackpot deal to get into the finals, I was like, this guy's a stud. There's no reason why he shouldn't be here. Now, I mean, tell us about the journey from that point to now.
So I got, Tally came along a little after that, and him and I, we bonded and had a relationship that we couldn't replace as far as steer wrestling goes. And he always brought a mentality to the table that was kind of I mean, he is a big man and he is a strong man, so he brings that Guru mentality to it. And I had to back up and realize that after I tore my pec in 20 and we hazed in Dallas, I had to back up and realize that all these guys coming to and getting to this level all have their own thing. Every one of them find a way to win. And I was trying to mock somebody else's bulldogging instead of being me, letting my run be good enough to be here.
Well, that's exactly right. And again, make your run what got you here good enough instead of trying to change something on every steer. And I think in the practice pen we've had that discussion a lot. And I think Katie has tried to have that discussion with you too. And is it like what does she know type deal? Katie, do you feel like it was a little bit like that?
I feel like I know a lot about bulldogging. And I have learned in the last several years that I should keep my mouth shut, probably more so. But no, I do. I feel like I spend a lot of time in the practice pen watching, and sometimes I don't always pick up on, the right thing, but I can see that there's something different or that he's thinking too much. And I do think that that's one big thing this year is like letting his run be enough. And just on the other side of it, one thing this year was me taking a step back and saying, what does he need to hear? Not what do I want him to hear, not how can I make him see this. It's what does he need to hear in this moment that's going to better him or benefit him going into the next run. And we've had that conversation too. I'm like, hey, what do I tell him? And you're like, nothing. Like, you can tell him to go have fun. And thankfully, again, having that community there and being able to talk with you about it has helped, I think, us as a couple, especially with him being on the road, but obviously his bulldogging. And I hope that, when we sit there and talk about bulldogging, it takes some weight off his shoulders, because I do love talking about bulldogging. I will talk about bulldogging with anybody at any point of any day.
Well, and then add Tucker into the equation, and I had him on the show earlier, and he's also became part of your guys' family, and I feel like he's been part of mine for a while since he started coming to us there when we were in California. And again, you take that with Tucker's kind of just go at him, don't care attitude. Yep. I think that helped also with you to be where you're at now.
Yeah, he's even mentioned it before. He said you have. I don't understand why you overthink it when you have more feel than anybody I know. And that was always, I kind of always was taken back by that statement. Like, yeah, I mean, I guess when I bulldog my best, I probably am not thinking a whole lot, thinking through it. So and Tucker's been such a blessing in our life outside the arena too. Having him around, he has became family. We joke about Tucker's room in our house. He's got his own room. No, everybody that's came in my life in that aspect, you, Tally, Tucker, that's all been a big part of my success story too.
Well, and for me, it was neat to see you guys here together. And, there's a lot of buddy groups that go all year long, and only maybe one guy out of that buddy group makes it. And to see you guys, because haze for each other all year, feed off one another, and then it shows out here that you guys are doing the same thing.
Yeah. And talking, kind of leading into the horsepower, Tucker, I started that horse, on the bulldogging side in March or whatever it was, and I told him, I said, I don't know if we can have him ready, but I'm going to need help. Youth ain't on my side anymore, and I'm not going to take the beating that you got to take with a green horse. And he jumped right in and helped, and so just like that, it's we fed off each other not only in our steer wrestling, but in the runs itself and then getting that horse here.
There at the end of the season, we were, you and I guess, were texting back and forth. What does Justin need to do? What does Tucker need to do? And we actually have a bunch of notes on our phone, some pictures you would send of, okay, they need to win this if this guy wins that, and here's the rodeo secretary's exact payout with doctor's releases or walk-up replacements. And I mean, like, you guys were out there just throwing them down. You had some mathematicians, well, a mathematician at home doing the work for you on what you guys needed to do.
We did.
I'm glad we had that because I wasn't doing the math. I was just throwing them down.
No, I literally drove myself nuts for 4 days. I had this whole paper that I wrote down who won what, where they could place, and then Luke came in with like clutch info from the secretaries of what each hole would pay, and because that was like the unknown. We had to wait till they posted it on prorodeo.org or .com or whichever, and he was like, no, this is the exact payout. So we had it all down to the penny of who was gonna make it, and we knew Justin was in after his first run at Sioux Falls, but Tuck, he had to wait till like the last rodeo and stress us all out. But it went well. It was fun.
And guys, people were questioning, what's Tucker riding out there? What's he going to do? And he had his decisions of what was in his head, but you and I were thinking, let's hope Tucker picks the right one. And we can't sit there and tell him, hey, Tucker, get on this horse, because in his mind, he has the confidence what he can go win on. Yeah. And that's exactly what he did at, was it Poway?
Well, both of them.
With Poway and San Bernardino.
He went and check at both of those, yeah.
Yeah.
San Bernardino, I think, is what punched the ticket, but yeah, he wanted to check both places.
He even did a little silly, like he doesn't ever celebrate, and he was pumped.
Yes.
That deserves one.
And well understood
deserved.
Why well deserved. But all right, now we've talked a little bit about horsepower. At the end of the year with Tucker, let's talk about Banker and the importance he had in your life.
Yeah. Well, if he hasn't proven it on TV, I've made this comment over and over. It's going to get boring on interviews, but Katie's grandma says that you get to own a stake horse. You don't get to train them. You get to ride them. Everything I've showed him, I just pointed and shoot, and he goes. He doesn't say no to anything, and he's incredible. On that part of it, he's fast and he's everything you want in a horse, but he's also really intelligent, and he thrives in situations like this. I think when he's home, he eats less. When he's turned out, he's bored and all the things. So he's fun to watch out here. He thrives in this environment.
Well, we talked about when you started hazing on him on a show earlier in the week. When you started hazing on him, this horse, he'd be lathered. He's like stressed out about it. Yep. When you swapped him over to the bulldogging side, it was like it was a whole new game. He's like, I love this. This is so nice. It's calm. I mean, rarely breaks a sweat.
Yep. Yeah, so we make fun of Jace Melvin's doing an outstanding job out here taking care of him, and we make fun of him every night because he's got more of a sweat on in the tunnel than he does when we get done bulldogging in the arena.
Well, and you mentioned Graham. I mean, getting to know her since we've been there, and you want to talk to somebody that knows everything about a horse, and when something's wrong, knows how to fix it. I mean, to have her there taking care of things when you guys are on the road or you're gone, she's just an awesome lady.
Yeah, for sure. She's only got like maybe 30% of her vision, but she is so aware of everything else. Like, how they talk about like when you lose one sense, like another sense is heightened. She will like listen to cadence of horses' steps on the concrete to see if they're sound, or she's just super aware of horses, which she's been around them her whole life. Right. And so, she trained horses on the racetrack, and she ran barrels and did all the things, and she just has an insane amount of knowledge that's, like they call backyard, vet stuff. When something's wrong, she's the first person we go to rather than the vet. Most of the time we also go to the vet, but between her and my dad, I mean, it's an insane amount of knowledge. But like you said, it's so comforting to know that she wants to take such good care of the horses. And on the other side of that, as my grandma, she's getting older. We lost my pop a few years ago, and this is giving her, helping take care of horses is giving her something to enjoy. And especially getting to help take care of horses that are in the Thomas and Mack. I think that brings her an insane amount of joy, and it just makes me feel good that she's a part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And, again, just being around her and how much she enjoys being out the arena with the kids, watching you guys bulldog, it's fun for me to see. I mean, my family's the same way. My dad loves being out there and helping. So to have that, again, support system from somebody that just absolutely loves to do it, it's pretty cool. Banker, obviously a star, but Stingray,
Yeah.
He came from the head and side. Once you moved Banker over to the bulldogging side. Well, now we need a Hayes horse.
Yeah.
And here comes Stingray.
Yeah, and took a special one. Same storyline too. We moved him over, went to 2 jackpots and a couple circuit rodeos, and then took him to Houston and show up, and everybody's like, "What are you riding?" Like, don't worry about it. My father-in-law and brother-in-law, they both stepped up on him in a big way. Tyler wasn't heading as much, and the horse was a powerhouse on the head side already. It ain't like it was a big switch for him. He was already an athlete, and so I just had to back him in there in Hayes steers.
Well, and he was good enough that you could throw me on him and just go. I just had to drop the reins and we'd go practice. And for me at my age, I know a little older, but to be able to get on a horse like that and just have fun doing it and not have to worry about hustling. And I mean, he's just so automatic, so easy, and so fast.
Yeah, and he's quick. You know, we hate not having him out here. He got hurt right before we got to come. His first step is what helped him with Banker, because Banker is got all the goods and the speed and all that kind of stuff. But Stingray's first step was so flat and low, and it would have fit this building perfectly. But luckily, Tyler Pearson stepped up, and we got our hands on Metallica. So.
Well, and again, the bulldogging community stepping up in a big way again. I mean, and I know you guys would have found something and had a good Hayes, but Tyler didn't have anybody on Metallic, and he's like, hey, you guys go ahead and take him, use him, and obviously he's going to make some money off you guys, but it's not about the money. I don't think it's about helping people out.
Sure. I mean, it's a business. You're not coming to Thomas Mack not to make money, but. It's hard to say no to guys you've traveled with all year that work so hard to get here too. When they need help, you put yourself more in a pinch sometimes helping a guy just because you know how it feels.
Well, and I've talked about that too with Tucker and you. I mean, you guys aren't going to tell anybody no. And in fact, we had this conversation the last month of the season. I said, it's time to be selfish. Yeah. You take care of yourself. You take care of Tucker. And if somebody needs something, if it works out to help them, yes, but don't go out of your way, because, I mean, that's rodeo. You have to be selfish to be successful. And my wife really experienced it in my career. Katie and we talked about that. He is the most unselfish person everybody knows. And I think you have to have a little bit of that to get to the next step.
I would agree. And I think it's something that everybody, and it might be like the most annoying thing that Justin hears, is to be selfish. But everybody in our family, between his parents, my parents, myself, have told him, you got to be more selfish. It's easy for us to say that knowing he is as selfless as he is. But we have watched him grind for years and years and years, and we've watched him put himself above everybody else. Today is Ellie's birthday, and I was pregnant with Ellie, and he went and hazed at the finals for Jacob Talley. He did fly home. I did make him buy a cheaper flight, and he did miss a delivery. But all that being said, he wanted to be there to help Tally. He got him there. He didn't want him, to be uncomfortable in that situation, so he went. And that's him, to a T.
Justin's first trip to the national finals, and Katie, your first trip for packing up everything for so many days, not only for yourself, obviously, fashion side of it, because when you get to the finals, you got to look good, right?
Yeah.
But all 3 girls and Lil Jet, let's talk about the packing experience to get out here to Vegas.
I will not lie, it was the most miserable experience of my life. So the very first thing, as soon as Justin ran his steer at Sioux Falls and I knew he was in, I booked Jace a hotel room because I knew he would want to be close to the horses and I knew he was going out there. And then like October 1, I started packing. I started like organizing outfits and I wanted all the girls to match and be cute, and Jet was easy. Like, boys are so easy. You lucked out for sure. But it was stressful, and I was joking one day, and I was telling Justin how stressful it is packing 100+ outfits, and he was kind of like, oh, I'm like, no, really. Like,
seriously?
There's me, 4 kids, that's 5. We're out there for 10 days, that's 50. You have a daytime outfit, a nighttime outfit, that's 100 outfits. And, we tried to, like, utilize what was already in our closet, but it was really exciting to get to shop for, like, the first 3 weeks. And then it was kind of like, oh, my gosh, like, how many more outfits? And it was so cute. It was cute. The girls, they did, like, a little fashion show. So we tried on all the outfits, and we were having all the outfits, like, picked out before we came out here so that they'd be easy to pack, easy to pull out. And they were strutting their stuff. They were so into it. Blakely got like 4 outfits in, and then she was done so. But the little girls, they were having a blast. And it was fun. I love fashion. I'm like the person that loves to look at paintings but can't draw a stick figure. Like, I can like kind of look at stuff and I'm like, oh, that's really cute, and I appreciate fashion. I am not like a fashionista. I cannot wait to get back in like jeans and a ball cap when we get home, and I don't know if I will put makeup on for the next 4 months.
Understandable. I mean, I laugh at that because when I was coming out, obviously boys were a little easier, but I'm sure Lindsay was stressed out about it, and we'd get ready to leave. I'm like, you got all their stuff packed ready? Come on. I put like 5 pairs of Carpenter jeans and some black sponsor shirts in a bag, and I'm ready to go. Literally, my bag was not very big at all.
Yeah, ask Justin how long it took him to pack.
I bought underwear out here, and Cinch had all my shirts on their trailer. So I put jeans in there and came out here.
So I packed like 8 pairs of jeans, starch pressed, because I do doing a lot of the media stuff. And I think I'm on pair number 2. Like that. If you get them starched right, you don't get in the arena dirt.
Dirt falls right off.
No reason to, I don't even get dirty anymore. But even when I was competing, I only wore 4 pairs of pants. I'd start with one, wear those for 2 days. And come to the 10th round, if I knew which pants I had success in, we're not superstitious. I would put those on for the 10th round if they were clean enough, and same with the shirt. I'd wear a shirt for 2 runs and then put it in the dirty clothes. Underwear and socks, I'm a little more deliberate about changing every day.
It's good.
Yeah, you don't want your feet to get smelly. Anyway, before we wrap this up, guys, a shout out. I obviously talked about the support system, but for me, your dad Hayes, the last year I went to check on Albuquerque, New Mexico, and was that 2022, 21? Anyway, Mike has been with you your whole career, just keeping you going. And, again, I can't thank him enough for what he did the end of my career as you and Cade, but have that type of support system in your life. Huge.
Well, and my whole support system's that way. My dad, most kids get drifted off into a place that they have to get away from their dad hazing, and I was lucky enough to have one that can do it in this building. So my whole career, I didn't know what a bad haze was.
Yeah. And Cade, your family right there with them.
Yeah, for sure. We've had a great support system. And like when I mentioned earlier, we lived in Hallsville for 10 years, and we had a great support system there. And then my family tries to come in as much as possible. We live all over the planet. But it's been nice to have that support system and not have people think I'm nuts for supporting him and chasing his dreams for the last, 11 or 12 years. We've been blessed by a great family.
Well, I can't thank you guys enough for coming on the show. Obviously, the best of luck last couple nights. And we'll see you back in Hico. Kids have school in a week, and we're going to be right back at regular life. Thanks for watching the Luke Branquinho Show. We'll catch you on the next one.
I'm honored to get to go tonight and watch it all play out.
Do you got a good seat, or they got you up in the nosebleeds?
No, the nose is bleeding a little.
Hey, you want to see more in-depth details on the Luke Branquinho Show? Make sure you like and subscribe.